Hello everyone, how are you all?
Hello, ma'am.
Hello,
Hello,
ma'am.
ma'am.
Uh,
Hello, ma'am.
yes, so nice to see you back to the class. Does anybody know what am I going to teach today? Any guesses?
No, ma'am.
No, yes.
Oh,
If
ma'am.
okay, I have purposely kept it as a suspense because I'm going to show you certain slides where you will come to identify whatever I'm teaching through that particular thing. Okay, so I am just going to share my screen with you and would ask you certain questions. Try to see the slides and whatever questions I'm asking, take turns to answer. Okay, I'm just sharing my screen with you all. Okay, I think this would give you a little idea what I'm going to do. Just a moment, I'm beginning from the slide. What are you able to see on the slide? May I just know? Any one of you can
Rapunzel.
answer. Rapunzel. Okay.
Rapunzel.
Okay. Any idea about the character? Though I have written
Yeah.
something. Okay, Kushi, proceed with the answer.
So it is a fantasy fairy tale where Rapunzel had very long hair and she used to put down her golden hair from the tower she used to live in, and then her mother, I can say, the witch, used to climb up.
Okay, so it is basically a fantasy character out of the fairy tale. And I have written two, three things. She has got beautiful long hair, golden hair. She was imprisoned, and from there, escapism was impossible. This is the storyline which we already know. Can somebody think to be Rapunzel but not to behave like her? Can this happen? Like we have the ideal characters before us, our I would say the hero or somebody whom you are inspired with. So suppose I tell you there is a girl who is inspired by the character, but she wants to become Rapunzel, get herself captivative in the tower, but she doesn't want to come out of it. Is it possible?
Ma'am, honestly, when I was in class 1 or 2, then I have long hair since childhood. So I used to imagine myself as her.
Okay. Uh, Nitisha, now the next slide is for you. Just tell me, what are you able
Yes, ma'am.
to, yes, what are you able to see here?
Ma'am, this is a mermaid.
Exactly, yes, correct. And what is mermaid actually, the creature? What type of creature it is?
Ma'am, it is like it has human body with hands and face, but it has the like tail of the fish.
Okay, I have already written it is used in the folklore where they have the combination of the body, human and fish. Can you just identify certain characteristics associated with mermaid? What type of life mermaid has? What does it do basically? Yes, Imanshu, you may answer, beta.
Ma'am, they live in water. Actually, I saw in a movie Mermaid, which was I think from Korea or China,
Okay,
and they just lived under a broken ship where they hunt for fishes and they eat them and they survive there.
okay. And are they the happy going creatures?
Uh, they was happy before, but a certain device in a water like sonar we have studied in ninth class in science. So the sonar kills the mermaid as it was shown in the film, and then their life become very difficult to live as the sonar were killing their mermaid one by one.
Okay, see, this is the case when we have, it is being shown in the movie. But if we think of the character is very happy going. Can you see the smile on the face and enjoying the beach, relaxing on the beach? So something related to that I was actually looking for. But yes, whatever you have seen, you have shared it very nicely. Can anybody tell me the meaning of folklore? What is a folklore? Must have heard about this particular word. Arju, do you know about it? Arja, are you able to hear me, beta? Can you
Yes,
answer?
ma'am.
Have you heard about folklore earlier?
Yes, ma'am. I have heard it. It is about traditional beliefs or something like that only. Traditional beliefs or customs.
Okay, but then why is it called as a folklore? Something related to speaking or
Story, ma'am, somewhat.
stories? Yes, they
Yeah.
are the type of stories which are, set from generations. It has traditional stories
presenting
which are, yes, which are presented. Exactly right. Which are presented from one generation to
presenting
another.
old.
Yes, may I know who's speaking right now?
No, it's like presenting old is something. It's
Okay.
like presenting old beliefs in the form of folk tales.
Yes, folk tales, which are usually, uh, propagated from mouth to mouth, from generation to generation. This is there. So they have the reference of mermaid in the folklore. This is what is being told. So, Ishika, you are late, beta. Next time, try to be on time. Okay. The next slide, Fatima. I would like to just ask you, what are you able to see in the next slide? Just a minute. See, here I am telling you about the poem Amanda. Okay, this is the poem which actually I'm going to teach you right now. And I have written a statement with so many questions. I just want to uh, find out what is your understanding from the statement and why so many questions are put there. If I read it, it says the poem portrays Amanda's imagination, which she uses to escape from the constant harassment and dominance of her parents. Tell me.
Ma'am, in this question, it is about Amanda, who is a girl who is imagining her parents who are dominating upon her for certain views. It may be like that. And for certain views which she could feel like they are a burden on her.
Okay. Ashika, can you just tell me one thing? Do you think parental instructions are a burden on us, or it's a level of harassment that the child faces?
Oh, ma'am, actually not. But when we are in teenage, so we feel like that they are nagging us or they are, dominating on us. But actually, it's for our benefit only.
Okay, so this is a good understanding at this age that at least you understand parents are not actually nagging because they try to be dominant, but actually for the benefit of the child. Okay, very good. Now, I think you might have got a little idea about the poem. Now, another slide. Maria or anybody else, would you like to just tell me about the two arrows which I have made it? Yes, Maria.
Uh, okay, think
Are you able to see? Yes, beta.
yes, ma'am.
Okay, Maria.
The yellow one states that the mother is like telling the child again and again to do something for the betterment of the child, and at the same time, the child feels that she is unnecessary, like pointing out at her or bothering her for doing this and that, which the child does not like.
Okay, so suppose I tell you that I have purposely put red color in one of the arrows. What might be the reason for that? Anybody can
The
answer.
child may feel uh, like danger or something.
Okay, so
Angry?
yes, exactly right.
Yeah,
Uh,
angry.
yes, I have tried to, contrast the elderly character or the parents with the kids, because, kids get angry very quickly. And that's why it's written that kids thinks parents are unnecessary bothering them. And on the left-hand side, it's been shown mothers nagging is for the betterment of kids. Now, the two arrows heading, or I would say head on with each other, what does it represent? I want to know that particular observation. What do you feel like? Why these are opposites?
Can I answer?
Both the views are
May I
crashing with
answer?
each other.
Yes, the views are, clashing. Can we call it as the difference of opinion?
Yes,
Yes, ma'am.
ma'am.
Yes, it could be. And this leads to generation gap later because nobody could try to bridge up the gap between which is there. And there is always a tussle going on, a stressful condition between the two. And another thing, if I just tell you, suppose I have, written 6 over here, 6 heading towards mother, and it looks 9 towards the kid. It happens. The difference of perception, actually, I want to tell you. The same thing appears true from one direction, one dimension, but it is different for the other. Same thing is going on over here. Mother's instructions are seem to be for the betterment, but child takes this at the as the I would say something which is unnecessary, not required, constant nagging. Okay, now another slide. See here. Here, I'm trying to, bring close to the poem, Amanda. Here, can you see two of the rectangular boxes with the two opposite, what we call it, the arrows? Himanshu, can you just tell me what do you interpret from the slide?
Ma'am, ma'am, please ask somebody else.
Why, beta, you do not know?
Ma'am, I'm not getting it.
You are not able to see the slide? Is it so?
No, ma'am, wait. Yes, ma'am, wait. Like,
I think you have to pin up the presentation. Then only you'll be able
yeah,
to
ma'am.
see it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you able to see the
Yes, ma'am.
slide?
Yes.
Okay, the two opposite again the arrows and something written about parents and about kids.
Let me
So,
see.
what are you able to understand?
Ma'am, the pink arrow is showing that the parents are doing well for their kids and they are scolding them for their good only, and they are teaching them how to be hygienic and clean, and they tell them how to clean your room. So this type of behavior they are training for their kids as they will grown up, and this will be useful for them.
Exactly. Now, Ravleen, tell me, are you able to hear me, Ravleen? Yes. Here it is written that parents are trying to, correct the habits of the kids. So, do you think correcting is important? Is it going to help the kids in future life or in future, I would say?
Yes, it is right because whenever the child is going in a wrong way or any other way, then parents should correct them because that is for betterment of their own child.
Okay, so basically, we would say it is the initial phase of their life where they are in a process of habit formation. So if they are corrected then and there are chances that they would not go wrong ways, or they won't be able to acquire the wrong habits. Okay, now who would let me know about the second box? Thinking of the kid, or what does the child think of? Any one of you who hasn't got the chance? Shravan, are you there or sleeping? Okay, rest of you. Yes, this is a common case in the class when somebody joins but does not answer. Okay. What about other parties, other class students? Beta, can anybody just tell me about?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, who would like to answer? Ritvik, you didn't say anything. Could you please
Yes, ma'am.
just tell about the second box? Though I have written everything, but then what is your understanding from that?
So, ma'am, these arrows can represent something which is positive and negative. Like the parents advising their kids is something positivity and beneficial for their growth, and also for the future life. But in second arrow we can see that they are doing something negative which is not good for the future, and they will understand it later.
Okay, let me correct you. See, positive and negative would not be the right terms over here because kids are also taking it in a good way that these things are my rights. These are my, that come under my freedom. I can eat chocolates because I love it. Why to do the room cleaning of the room when my parents tell me? Why can't I delay the things? Why it is to be done then and there when parents ask? So sometimes it happens, it is a child mode. Have you heard about child mode and parent mode? Parent want to that you should do it right now, and kids want no. Why not? Why not? Why to do it right at that moment? So basically, this difference of thought leads to the stressful condition. So here the parent is trying to correct the actually mother of Amanda is trying to correct her by telling that you should have a good posture, sit properly, do not lie down, do not simply bend your body and to write, or do not eat chocolates and junk food because you have already encountered acne earlier, and you tidy your rooms and all. But later, on the other side, I would say kids thought that why can't I lie down, bend down and write? What is the harm if I go for chocolates? What is the harm if I just delay the cleaning and all? So the child is not able to share what he is or she is feeling. Rather, the child is lost in his own thought. As the poem is related to Amanda, I would say the girl was lost in her own thought and she wanted an escapism from all these instructions and bondations at home. So that's why when I'll be telling you the poem, few stanzas are written in bracket, which actually tells us about Amanda's visit to her dream world. Okay, now another slide is the literary device, which I'll be discussing later. I am right now, coming back to the explanation part. Now, this is a poem written by, I think you all have the notebook before you. Okay, this is, please take first flight. This is the poem named Amanda. It's on page number 61. And we will see how through the poem, parents uh, we come to know how parents they bother their kids for their betterment and how kids take those instructions. Okay, so this poem is written by, may I know the name of the poet? You all have the book before you, I suppose.
Robin Klein.
Robin
Yes,
Klein.
it is Robin Klein, and who usually writes the poem showcasing the problems of day-to-day life, and especially here it is being mentioned how Amanda was troubled by the mother and what she thought of. Okay, she came with the weird thought to become even orphan that I did not include in the slide, but here we will be proceeding, like getting to know what actually it is. See, the first stanza itself says, "Don't bite your nails, Amanda. Don't hunch your shoulders, Amanda. Stop that slouching and sit up straight, Amanda." May I know the tone of the mother here?
In an angry tone or like instructions.
Yes, it is instructional mode. Can we call the mother authoritative? With the authority, she's trying to mend the ways of the daughter. Okay, so she's telling that way. And there is a repetition of the word don't, don't. May I know which poetic device it is?
Repetition.
Repetition.
Uh, though we call it a repetition, but there is another poetic device. I think in class 9th you haven't come across it.
It's anaphora.
Yes, exactly right. It is anaphora. Anaphora means repetition of a word at the beginning of a line of a poem. Okay, I'll be giving you the details of the poetic device after I finish off with the explanation part. Right now, you can mention it as anaphora, where the word don't is repeated in each line. Clear to everybody? Okay. Now see here it is written with the exclamation mark. May I know the reason why there is an exclamation at the end?
Ma'am, like when we order someone, that is the sign used for it.
Exactly. Here the mother's gesture is being represented, that there is some expression with the statement. Okay, don't do this, don't do that. So definitely, eyebrows get lit up, and this way it is being told. Now here she is telling not to bite the nails, not to hunch your shoulders. Hunch your shoulders means don't to loosen, do not lose it down. Just sit straight. This is the right posture. Then she is telling stop slouching and sit up straight. What do you mean by slouching? Can anybody tell me the meaning?
A lazy manner.
Yes, when you sit in a lazy manner, you're not active, you're not enthusiast, that manner. So she's trying to just tell her that I think if we see the setting of the lines, it is like she's studying. She must be on the study table. Okay, and she is not sitting properly. So the mother is telling all these things to take care of. And these are the instructions which daughter did not like at all. That's the reason the next stanza is in bracket, where it is shown that she's totally avoiding the mother's instructions and she wanted an escape from it. That's the reason she is thinking of mermaid. Okay, see here it is written. There is a languid emerald sea where the sole inhabitant is me, a mermaid drifting blissfully. Okay, languid means Arjav,
Relaxed or
Relax.
calm.
Relaxed kind of.
Yes, Arjav is also right. Nitisha, you're also right. It is relaxed. She wanted to live the life of a mermaid who is so relaxed, calm, and quiet, and simply bathing in the sea water, relaxing, basking in the sun, and enjoying the time, rather than asking somebody to be straight. That's there. Okay, that has to be taken care of. So this is what is being told over here. And another thing which is written is emerald sea. This is a metaphor. The reason is the color of the sea is being mentioned indirectly, though comparison done, but indirectly, that she finds herself, she thinks herself to be near the sea, enjoying the sea beach, sitting quietly, and a mermaid drifting blissfully, moving blissfully, happily. The next one is, did you finish your homework, Amanda? Did you tidy your room, Amanda? I thought I told you to clean your shoes, Amanda. So, mother is inquiring about certain instructions which she has given earlier. So, she is actually taking a follow up right now. And as the girl hasn't done anything, she's not in a, uh, I would say, state to answer to the mother whether she has done it or not. So she again thinks, oh God, again mother over my head, again telling me do this, do that, have you done it or not? I wish I would have been an orphan. See, this is a teenager girl, a teen, who doesn't know what pains are associated being an orphan. She only knows orphan, they do not have parents. Okay, and they know that they have a very carefree life where there is nobody to bother them about. So she is just keeping that thing in mind, is telling that I would like to be like an orphan who would move on the street. It's written that I am an orphan roaming the street. I pattern soft dust with my hushed bare feet. Hushed means quietly, silently moving. Okay, the silence is golden, the freedom is sweet. She considers, if I am an orphan, I'm not answerable to anybody. I can remain quiet and silent. Okay, and as the proverb goes, silence is golden. It's better not to answer to mother, to all these questions. And in the end, she says the freedom is sweet. I love the freedom. And she is comparing herself. She is wishing to be an orphan. So she's lost in her thought. Okay, the next one is, don't eat that chocolate, Amanda. Remember your acne, Amanda. Will you please look at me when I'm speaking to you, Amanda? Now, I would like to know how many of you actually behave in this way when sometimes you want to overlook what your parents are telling. Might be an instance or so. Yes or no? This happens, usually happens. Yes, I could see the smiles on the faces. If you wish to share, it's okay. Nobody? Shall I proceed then? Okay, it usually happens. You feel like, you have so many things to just pour out, but then owing to the respect you have, you do not speak. but you feel like, and those feelings are here, put it in the brackets. So she says that as the mother started telling her about her wrong eating habits, and just to see me when I'm talking to you, she's avoiding, and she said, oh, I want to be Rapunzel. Who would be there in that high tower? Okay, I'm Rapunzel, I have not a care. Life in a tower is tranquil and rare. Tranquil is peaceful, quiet. I'll certainly never let down my bright hair. Now, see, she's bringing a twist to the story. She says, I want to be captive in the tower. And the reason is, I don't want to come out. If I come out again, I'll be bothered by my mother. Okay, in the actual story, Rapunzel, when the prince had come, she had cut her golden plate and tied it like a rope, and then they climbed down to escape. But she doesn't want escapism from that tower where she has remained undisturbed, uninterrupted, without any nagging. She's very happy. So she starts feeling that way. Okay? And the last stanza says, stop that sulking at once, Amanda. You're always so moody, Amanda. Anyone would think that I nagged at you, Amanda. So she's trying to actually tell that the mother wants the child not to be silent. She should speak up. She should tell what is the problem. She should answer to the questions of the parents. And then another tag is given to her. What is that tag? Can anybody tell me?
Moody.
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 Yes,
Moody.
moody. You must have heard about mood swings.
Yeah.
They are very common problems during the teenage because of the hormonal changes and all. And this happens. Sometimes what happens that you are in a state of happiness and you speak good with everybody. But next moment, what you do? You just burst out. This is a mood swing. Fatima, did you ever encounter this mood swing?
Ma'am, always
Always. Okay. So what are the instructions that you get later from your parents?
sleep early and be on a timetable mode. Don't mess up with everything like that.
Okay, okay. And if I just ask you to focus on your behavioral, uh, uh, I would say the response during the mood swing. Are you angry? Are you at the top of your
Yeah,
voice?
sometimes. Yeah, sometimes.
It happens. You are at
I
the
get
top.
irritated, so I just shout and burst out.
Yes, yes. So these things happen very naturally. It is, I would say, I cannot blame the teenagers. It's a part of their a part of their growing. But yes, obviously, we can control it. So these things, if you see, anyone would think that I nagged at you, Amanda. The last line says that any child would think that I am, bothering the kids. But then this is what is for the betterment of the students. Okay, so I think we are done with the explanation part. Any problem in any of the lines? There are certain poetic devices also which I'll be taking in the next class. Like there are alliteration is there. Just one thing I would like to tell you right now. There is one poetic device, illusion. How many of you have heard about it?
Yes,
Illusion.
ma'am, I guess. Yeah, like somewhat of imagination, I guess.
No, no, no,
When we
no, beta.
It's
Ishika,
basically referring to like a old character from the past,
yes,
which
some old.
doesn't exist in real life right now.
Yes, it is referring to the past event, past character, something. Like if I give you the reference from Bible, it is also illusion. If I give you reference from independence struggle, it's an illusion. If I give you reference from mythological character, it's an illusion. Okay, so illusion is a device. So here, mermaid is something from the folklore. So that particular poetic device would become illusion. Like Rapunzel also, it's a character, and we are giving a reference of that character. Okay, so this way there are other things also which we would be continuing in the next class. Okay, so any other doubt you may just ask me right now. Rest of the question answers and other things in the next class then.
no,
No?
ma'am.
Okay, next time, Shravan, I want you on the video mode. Okay, and to be participative in the class discussion, whatever goes on. Okay, then we end the class here. and come prepared with your questions in the next class. Thank you so much.
Yes.
You may
Thank you,
leave.
ma'am.
You may leave the meeting, beta.
Thank